Hello, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar with Ground Truth, How Location Marketing Fits into Your 2019 Holiday Advertising Strategy. My name is Erica, and I'm the Director of Marketing for the LSA, and I'll be your host for today's event. A few housekeeping items before we begin. This webinar is being recorded and will be circulated to all attendees within 24 hours of the broadcast. Questions will be answered during the Q&A session at the end. You can, however, ask questions at any time during the broadcast by using the question window in your control panel. Our speakers today are Senior Ad Strategist Malcolm Johnson, who is part of the Ground Truth platform team, and Ground Truth's Marketing Insights expert, Nicole Genchur, who will be reviewing their holiday insights. Without further delay, I'll pass the mic to Malcolm to get us started.
Thanks for that intro, Erica, and welcome to the webinar, everyone. Before we kind of go into exactly what location marketing is and how you can best utilize it for your holiday strategy, I wanted to give you guys just a brief background on who Ground Truth is as a company so that we're kind of all speaking on the same terms here. So Ground Truth is the leading location marketing technology company, and our platforms have been built for over 10 years to enable the power of location intent to drive business performance. We've spent over a decade building a mapping platform focused on data quality that allows us to precisely harness location intent. Complemented with predictive targeting tools and proprietary buying methods built to drive offline performance. Globally, our platform generates over 30 billion visits annually with over 160 million global devices. And just some brief background on our business. We were founded in 2009, have nearly 400 employees globally, 21 countries with 14 offices, 3 patents awarded, and 16 patents pending. We work with over 50% of the top 4 to 500 companies. We're leaders in privacy and compliance with many third-party partnerships and have some award-winning programs like our Location for Good, as well as preferred location partner for the Federation of Internet Alerts. These are just some examples of a few of the brands that we're currently working with, both with our platform and managed services teams. Okay, so now, what brought you to the webinar was either you've heard of location marketing and you're curious about how you can use it as part of your overall strategy, or you've never even heard of location marketing and you really just wanted to dip your toes in and learn a little bit more. So for the beginning of this presentation, I just wanted to review the 3 main tenets of why you would use location as part of your media strategy. One is going to be why location. So why is this a strategy that's worth adding to your mix, especially if you have limited or small budgets? Second is why mobile. So Ground Truth is a mobile-only company, and we really focus on mobile devices as the driver of business performance. So why should you be spending your dollars on mobile? And then third is why Ground Truth. We're not the only company in the space, but we do believe that we are a leader in the location space and have some differentiators that can really set us apart from other potential partners that you're looking at. So location is a key part of your offline strategy. What we mean by offline strategy is not just leveraging the insights that you can get from traditional digital marketing, but actually looking at where people go and act like in the real world to build your strategies. 90% of retail commerce happens offline. A lot of the narrative that we hear in the marketing world is that retail is dead and everything is about e-commerce, but when you actually zoom out from that and look at statistics, about 90% of retail commerce still happens offline. Location defines who you are compared to digital behaviors. So I'm going to walk you through an example here about how digital marketing works for most. You can see the screen on the right. Right now, it's looking at a search bar. Let's say that this user's on Google. They're looking up Gucci right now. That's going to look up Ferragamo or some other luxury brands as well. Based on how most digital marketing works, this person would always be dropped into an audience that's a luxury intender. So they're going to be targeted by Gucci, they're going to be targeted by Ferragamo and other competitors in that space. However, Ground Truth, when looking at that same exact user, knows that where we actually see them shop in the real world is TJ Maxx, Saks Fifth, and Marshalls. So while they're quite aspirational online with the brands that they're looking at and the types of things that they search for, where they're actually showing up in the real world, where they're making purchases are at these discount brands. So now, why mobile? Our mobile devices are always with us, creating an opportunity no matter where we are. So you can see how people actually spend their time on devices. We have 31% mobile, 30% TV, and 16% desktop. So right now, if you're not currently advertising on mobile, you're missing out a huge chunk of your users' time. We have 90% consumer adoption on location services. So concern many have coming to location is how many people actually enable that on their phone? Aren't they all just clicking, don't share mine? But what we actually find is overall people are sharing their location services, which enables a company like Ground Truth to leverage and to help you reach the consumer. And overall, we have $26.5 billion spent on location-targeted mobile ad spending. Basically, what this means is this isn't a brand new industry or something that you're just testing as a fringe concept. This is a widely adopted marketing strategy that is used across the globe, and it basically means that if you're not currently targeting with mobile location, that likely one of your competitors is. And mobile usage per day, we see about 3+ hours. I can see for myself and probably many people in this webinar as well that I'm highly addicted to my mobile device. I need it for everything to connect me to friends, as well as the news, weather, any other information that I need, and that usage really adds up over time. And we see about 76% of consumers visit a store location after researching information on their mobile devices. So that's the most immediate place where you're looking for information on how to shop. So now, why Ground Truth? And a lot of our differentiators come from just the superior data and the practices that we have around accuracy with our location. We reach about 2/3 of mobile users monthly, 30 billion unique visits globally, and we see about 94% accuracy with third-party validated visits by Numerator, and we're the only third-party validated partner in the space. Basically just means we don't just grade our own homework, we have third parties that go over and ensure that we're using all the best practices. Our technology ensures you only reach the right people, and we do this basically in 3 different ways. These are going to be terms that are used within Ground Truth, so I'll make sure I define them for you, but we have place determination, location determination, and visit determination. So first off is going to be place determination. What you're looking at on your screen is an example of what's called a Ground Truth blueprint, and this is really the core of our platform in terms of accuracy. So let's take an example that this is a retailer called Baya's Boutique. So if we see right now, you can see the on-premise of Baya's Boutique is this area in green. The parking lot outside is this area in orange, and the retail block is what we call this area in red. Basically what this allows you to do as a marketer is going to be reaching people in exact locations. So if Baya's is the business and they want to target all their competitors, they can reach people as they walk into not just the retail block or not just the lot, but the exact store location with exact boundaries built out in the platform. Second is going to be location determination. So this is actually a process that is proprietary to Ground Truth and is a large differentiator for us in the space. What we're basically able to do is to verify all of the location signals that we receive through a proprietary algorithm. So a lot of these terms are a little more inside baseball. They're going to be things that are used by people in our industry like centroids or randomized lat longs. But to give you a real world example of what this looks like, Ground Truth's headquarters is in downtown New York City, where Nicole and I are located today. We've probably seen my mobile device 20 times today in downtown New York and Brooklyn, where I live. If all of a sudden we were to receive an ad request with a location signal from Columbus, Ohio, 20 minutes after seeing me in downtown New York, that's going to be questionable for our platform based off of what we know about my device. So we will have to reject the request that comes from Columbus because we know I can't have traveled there in the 20 minutes since my last request. Basically what this means is we do allow you to target users and track users down to the individual store or individual business level. So we have to make sure that we are only allowing the most accurate requests available in our system. And the third being visit determination. So once we've verified a location signal and we've matched it to a place using our blueprints, the final step is determining whether a visit has actually occurred. So we look at a number of contingencies that enter into that complex equation of whether we deem a visit to be 100% verified. You can see on the right here we have store hours. So the visit would have to occur during store hours. Employee status, so we're able to weed out employee devices using things like dwell time. So if they're in the store for multiple days in a row for the same time period and they do things like logging into the Wi-Fi, that's an indication to our system that they are an employee. And then dwell time, speed, and horizontal accuracy. Visitation, like I mentioned earlier, is also validated by a third party called Numerator, who basically matches a panel that they have of devices with receipt data against the visits that we count through the platform. And we're able to verify just as recently as Q1 of 2019, 94.4% of visits, which basically means that we're able to see 94.4% of the receipts that they give us, we're able to match the devices that we actually have. That additional 5% here could also just be users who visit a store and never actually end up making a purchase. So without further ado, I'm going to pass this over to my colleague Nicole here, who works on our marketing insights team, who's going to share some insights for the upcoming holiday season.
Thanks, Malcolm. The insights I'm going to walk through today are based on a foot traffic analysis of around 250 major retailers across various categories on Ground Truth's ad platform. As mentioned, the data is pulled from the 2018 holiday time period, so it's a great indicator of consumer shopping behavior for this upcoming holiday season, which is actually approaching very quickly. So you don't need me to tell you that consumers spend money during the holidays. In fact, according to the NRF, 165 million Americans shopped in stores or online from Thanksgiving through Cyber Monday in 2018. But what's really interesting is when you are able to observe common consumer behaviors, including when, where, and how they are shopping. This is the type of data we are going to focus on today, so your business goes into the holiday season with the best strategy to maximize sales. So while consumers are shopping both in-store and online during this time frame, mobile devices play a key part in both scenarios, with 84% of consumers saying they will rely on their phones to research, price compare, and check product reviews during their 2019 holiday shopping. And while we see that sales are starting earlier and earlier each year, 66% of shoppers are still shopping for holiday gifts in the week leading up to Christmas. We are going to dive a bit deeper into day-over-day foot traffic patterns on the next slide. So this chart depicts day-over-day foot traffic to the overall retail category, indexed against the average daily foot traffic from October 31st through January 1st, 2018 on Ground Truth's platform. Let's walk through these 5 peaks in foot traffic that you just can't ignore, which are highlighted in the little black boxes on the chart. So starting backwards with number 5, as mentioned, people are starting to shop earlier and earlier because retailers are now pushing sales in early November. So we found that foot traffic was 43% above average starting as early as November 3rd. But Black Friday is still a huge driver for in-store foot traffic because on Black Friday, retail foot traffic increased 73%. And although we see people shopping earlier, there will always be the last-minute gifters, who we will talk more about later. We see that in the 2 weeks leading up to Christmas, retail foot traffic jumps 19%. And the Saturday before Christmas had the highest volume of foot traffic to retailers with a 73% increase. And the shopping madness is not over after December 25th. Don't forget about customers making returns in the days after. There is a 27% increase in foot traffic the day after Christmas. So now that we've overviewed the general foot traffic patterns over the entire holiday time frame, let's circle back to the first holiday of the season and arguably my favorite, Thanksgiving. As shoppers prep for Thanksgiving feasts and all of the Friendsgiving meals in the days surrounding the holiday, we see major spikes to grocery-related stores. We look specifically at big box retailers, national and local grocery stores, and warehouse retailers such as Costco to see the average number of visits to each in the week leading up to Thanksgiving. When we combined all 3 categories, we saw that shoppers make about 4.6 different visits throughout the week. Shoppers frequent big box stores about 2.2 times in the week leading up to Thanksgiving, and we see this is also where shoppers go for last-minute items. You can see from the chart on the right that big box stores see 34% above average foot traffic on Thanksgiving Day, while all other categories see below average traffic, obviously because most retailers are closed. We also know that big box stores open around 6 p.m. to start their Black Friday deals early. Unsurprisingly, but worth noting, foot traffic to liquor stores spiked 77% the day before Thanksgiving, as those hosting are likely stocking up on spirits for the day, or as feast attendees shop for a gift to bring to dinners. The next holiday we're going to discuss just one day later is Black Friday. Black Friday is good business for malls, which see 159% uptick in foot traffic on the retail holiday. For Black Friday 2018, 40% of women respondents and 42% of male respondents stated they would visit 3 to 5 stores during the shopping holiday, according to a survey by Statista. And what better way to hit different stores than at the mall? But as customers flock to get the biggest deals, we see visitation to electronic stores increase 212% over the holiday average. Similarly, big-ticket items like jewelry stores drove 168% increase in foot traffic. After shoppers cross off their big-ticket gifts from their list, we see traffic to sporting goods stores, department stores, and beauty stores rise in the triple digits as well. So we briefly mentioned last-minute shoppers earlier when we called out that the Saturday before Christmas had the highest volume of foot traffic to retail stores. You can see from the chart on the left that shoppers are headed to sporting goods stores, jewelry stores, and of course liquor stores again, followed by electronics, apparel, discount, and beauty stores. So could you have guessed who would make up these last-minute shoppers? We found that our Generation Z and Dad's audiences were the biggest culprits of doing their shopping last minute. So if you're looking to reach impressionable shoppers in the days leading up to Christmas, these would be your audiences to target. And with 76% of Gen Z shoppers using their phones in store aisles, mobile is the most obvious and best way to reach them. So now you may be thinking, what can you do with all these insights to maximize sales for your business? Well, here are our recommendations on how to best leverage insights and location technology during the holidays. The first is to reach customers at the right time and place to influence behaviors and amplify your marketing messaging with real-time targeting. Use insights to determine the most opportune times to stand out amongst your competitors during this promotion-heavy time period. The second is to engage with current or potential customers multiple times throughout the holidays through retargeting. It is especially important to stay top of mind since there are so many different promotions being thrown at shoppers during this time. And the last is to build rich audience profiles and target them with hyper-relevant messaging. We suggest building these audiences based on both demographic data and visitation data for the most accurate audience profiles. So that is all I have for today. I'm going to hand the mic back over to Malcolm, where he will be diving into our Ads Manager platform directly.
Thanks for all those insights, Nicole. So now I wanted to give a demonstration, now that we know the types of strategies that you can use to best leverage location for the holiday season. How do you actually set those up? What does that look like? And is that going to be feasible for you or your team to do during the season? So a quick overview of the different types of targeting products that we have available in the platform. The first would be a product that we call on-premise targeting. So powered by the blueprints that we reviewed earlier, you're able to target a user as they actually walk onto the premise of a competitor location or even just a location that you think might be relevant for your brand. Second will be location-based audiences. So you can see some of the brands listed here, Athleta, Lululemon, and Peloton. You can reach users based off of the brands that they have visited in the past. So if you're running the marketing for a target location, they might want to reach users who have shopped at Walmart or Kmart before this month. We also have behavioral-based audiences. So some of you might be familiar with platforms like Google AdWords or Facebook Ads Manager, where you can target people by their behavior. On those platforms, the behaviors and those audiences are built out by what they engage with on search and social. We've used kind of the same concept, except with locations that a user has actually visited as an indication of what their behavior is. So an example here would be a gym goer is going to be someone that we've seen frequent a gym in the past 60 days. We'll also have something like, to use the example of the target again, a big box shopper is going to be a device that we've seen visit, for example, a Walmart and a Target in the past 90 days. So we have over 100 of these available through the platform that are all based off of our first-party data and actual location observations that we have in the platform. Next would be proximity targeting. So this might be what you first thought of when you thought of location marketing, kind of a standard geofence. If you're a retailer that's in a busy shopping district, or even just somewhere where you're getting a lot of local traffic to your store, this could be a great strategy for you to capitalize on that traffic that's already nearby. Next would be what's called neighborhood targeting. So this actually leverages existing data in the platform in order to better serve a proximity campaign. So if you can see this area right here and all of these locations in kind of deeper red and orange surrounding that store, those are going to be the areas that over-index at the highest rate with that location. So it allows you to serve a proximity campaign based off of where people go before and after visiting your store. And lastly, Genchur acquired the company Weatherbug in 2016. So we can set up campaigns to be triggered by different conditions. An example would be halls might want to serve cough drop ads on very cold or rainy days. Perhaps someone, a cafe wants to serve iced coffee ads on a very hot day. There's a lot of creative ways that you can use this, especially as the weather starts to turn colder, especially here in the Northeast. So now I'm going to introduce Ads Manager for you. This is our own platform that is built to activate all your media through. And it's actually unique in that we have all of our own data as well as our own bidder built into the same platform. So from actually gathering data to activating media, there's as few steps as possible. So basically how it works, it's just going to be 4 quick and easy steps. One is going to be to set your targeting. Second is going to be putting in your ad creative. Third, you will launch your campaign. And fourth, you can actually measure your results through the platform as well. So to show you how that works, I'm going to actually go into the platform briefly here and walk through a campaign for a retailer that I'm calling Bea's Boutique. Bea's Boutique is an upscale women's boutique located in Columbus, Ohio that is trying to capitalize on location for the holiday season. So we've been working with Bea's, it's a fake retailer, but based off of our suggestions, this is what we would suggest for them to run for the holiday season. I've put in 3 different what we call ad groups down here, which is where the targeting is actually set up. So the first would be Bea's radial targeting. So if we click through on this group, for step number 1, set targeting, we can basically see under this apply additional location filters option, I've put in the address. This is the address of Bea's Boutique and a 3-mile radius surrounding it. What that means is when a mobile device enters that 3-mile radial fence surrounding Bea's Boutique, they could receive one of Bea's ads and potentially be driven to visit the store. Down here where it says specify your drive-to destination for ad group measurement, I've put in Bea's Boutique as what we call a location group. So if you have your own retail store or restaurant or auto lot that we don't have already in our system, what you'll do is click Add New Location Group, just give us the address of that location. That signals to our system that we're supposed to be measuring the visits from the ads served here that actually show up in the store here. The second ad group that we've set up is going to be Bea's audience targeting. So if we click through here, like I mentioned, Bea's is an upscale women's retailer. So we've used a few of our both behavioral audiences as well as our location brand audiences to help them reach their competitors and people who are likely to shop at their store. So a few of those are fashion shoppers, which is a behavior, luxury shoppers, which is also a behavioral audience, Nordstrom, Anthropologie, and then Bea's Boutique competitors. So they have a few competitors locally in their exact region and in exactly Columbus that aren't in our system. They're not big regional or national brands, but they're still extremely relevant for Bea's. So what Bea's has done here is added those locations in a group called the Bea's Boutique competitors. We're able to save the audiences that visit that group so that they can target them in their exact DMA. And then as you can see here, we've put the additional location filter as Columbus, Ohio, which basically means they're only reaching devices that fall into these unique audiences that are currently in the designated market area of Columbus, Ohio. And they've repeated the steps that we did in the other group down here, where specify your drive-through destination. We've put Bea's Boutique as the location to measure visits for this campaign. Finally, the last group that we have is going to be Baya's competitor on-premise. So this one is going to look very similar to the audience group that we had set up before. However, instead of reaching the audiences, meaning people who have previously visited these stores, this is going to be reaching people who are currently shopping at these competitors. So you'll recognize many of the same brands: Nordstrom, Neiman Marcus, Anthropologie, Madewell, J. Crew, and then we additionally have the Baya's Boutique competitors group in here as well. So people who are shopping at any of these locations within the Columbus, Ohio DMA are eligible to receive one of Baya's ads as they get the campaign launched. So that's going to be step number one for Baya's Boutique as far as setting targeting. Step number two is going to be ad creative. So you can see here, I've added just a simple text banner. This is the most popular size in the platform and the one we require for campaigns to launch, which is called a 320 by 50 size banner. Basically what you can do is just add all of your creative by using this Add New Creative button. You can select right from your storage. We accept PNG, JPEG, GIF files as well. All of the sizes are laid out here with the two most important highlighted as 1 and 2, so a 320 by 50 and a 300 by 250. So you can select from storage, add a banner in, and then to direct that user, you can either drive them directly to a URL, so groundtruth.com in this example, or you can choose to leverage the Ground Truth landing page, which has a few options here for a little bit more dynamic options for that user. So you can add a header image, a coupon, or an additional image. You can link to a YouTube video, and then we have what are called secondary actions here. So click for directions would open up the user's Maps application to drive them to Baya's Boutique. Click to call would call the store, and you could add an additional call to action as well. So this is just a nice option for users so that as soon as they click through on a banner, they immediately have secondary actions to take that'll drive them further down the funnel for Baya's Boutique. And the last step is going to be launching a campaign. So in the budget and schedule section here, only things you'll need to get going are going to be a test budget. So in this case, I've put $3,000 in at the campaign level for about a 2.5-month campaign. That's around an average of what we'll see for a retail store during the holiday season. You'll put in a CPM bid, which stands for cost per 1,000 impressions. The minimum in the platform is $3.50. $5 is probably a good average to start with, depending on the strategy. And then you'll have to put in flight dates as well. So in this case, we are launching the campaign today on the 15th of October and running all the way through Christmas Eve, so that we're getting even those last-minute shoppers, whether that's Gen Z or dads or frequent travelers, as Nicole presented in the Holiday Insights. Once you've launched your campaign, you'll just click Save and Launch, and we'll start to see results pouring through so that you can determine whether your campaign is working. So you'll see your core metrics here with budget, spend, impressions, reach. Visits will be the unique visits to your store. Click-through rate is going to be the percentage of users who are served a banner that then click on it. And secondary action will have to do with clicking to call the store or clicking for directions. Additionally, we can give you some advanced insights here in terms of location, so that will show you where the ads actually showed up down to the zip code level, and audiences. So you'll be able to glean some insights as far as who actually visits your store. So for Baya's Boutique, perhaps they know that they're trying to reach luxury shoppers and fashion shoppers, but what they're finding is a lot of their visits are coming from fitness enthusiasts. So that's additional information that they can use to help target more relevant audiences and ultimately drive better performance. So now we can move to a quick Q&A. I know some of you have been sending in questions throughout the presentation, so we just wanted to answer a few of them. One question that we've gotten is where do the ads actually show up and where do users see the ads? So that's an excellent question. We serve all of our ads on mobile in-app inventory. The reason we do that is because mobile apps pass the highest quality GPS information to Ground Truth, and we're able to rely on that information more than, for instance, mobile web. So we plug into major mobile ad exchanges and overall have an access of over 150,000 apps across both Google Play and the iOS store. So some prime examples would be WeatherBug, which is owned and operated, or apps like Pandora, and ESPN. Many apps across news, gaming, weather, and sports will have access to the inventory there.
There's one question for me here, which is how do restaurants perform over the holidays? This category was missing from the Thanksgiving info. Yes, so we didn't cover restaurants in our latest holiday strategy playbook, which, just so you guys know, you will be receiving that playbook by email after the webinar is over. The playbook was mostly retail focused, so that's why all the subcategories you saw presented fall under retail. But we do have restaurant data, and I know from last year we did have that data pulled. And we do see higher than normal traffic in December, mostly from holiday parties. But the types of restaurants are definitely more high-end that are seeing this spike in foot traffic. So yeah, I know December is a very busy time for restaurants as well. Obviously not on the actual holiday, but leading up to and even into January.
Perfect. Another question we've received is the platform available in Canada? Currently, it is available in Canada. We do require that you set up a separate account with Ground Truth in order to activate through Canada, and the billing is a little bit different. You're still able to activate on a credit card, but again, it would have to be through a different ads manager account. But good news for you, if you're a retailer that operates both in the United States as well as Canada, is that we can definitely run campaigns in both. Another question we've received is, can we target new versus repeat visitors? That is a current capability of the platform. What we're actually able to do is to build an audience based off of your locations. So if you're Baya's Boutique and you have one location in Columbus, Ohio, we'll build an audience based off of the devices that we've observed visit your location. What you can then do is, through the platform, exclude that audience from who you are targeting. So if you're targeting fashion shoppers and luxury shoppers, what we'll do is basically just have the device IDs that are currently in the audience that has visited Baya's, and we'll make sure that we drop those from those audiences so that you can target all brand new customers. Another question we've received is, do the customers have to open an app to see an ad, or would push notifications deliver the ad if they are enabled? Currently, someone has to have an app open in order to see an ad. There is some tracking that we can do without the app directly open on a device. However, in order for someone to actually receive an ad, they do have to have the application open. We don't serve push notifications. That's largely an opt-in type of service. Otherwise, every device would be receiving hundreds of push notifications every minute from retailers. So that's the reason that we serve only when the app is open. Another question we received is, do you receive your mobile device IDs from a third-party app or from the operating system? What percentage of mobile devices are you able to track? So yeah, we are able to get mobile ad IDs from the application itself. So basically, someone like WeatherBug will send an ad request to Ground Truth with information on that user as well as their mobile ad device. It's an anonymized alphanumerical string that we just use to track that device anonymously. So we receive that directly from the application. And what percentage of mobile devices are you able to track? Monthly, we see about 2/3 of mobile devices in the United States. All right, thank you. So we have recorded this webinar, and we'll pass it back over to Erica.
Thanks, Malcolm. Great questions and discussion. Thank you so much to Ground Truth for putting together this great webinar for us. This ends our broadcast for today. If you are interested in viewing this and other previous LSA webinars, simply visit our website, thelsa.org, and navigate to insights/webinars. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please be sure to visit thelsa.org and subscribe for updates to be the first to know about future events. Have a great day, everyone.